Hey, good morning, Sarah Eigel. How are you today?
Oh, it's a great day here in the great state of Missouri. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's our pleasure. I'm going to let you know my name is Donnie Bennett. I'm a former veteran, Army. Don't hold that against me. We're going to be viewing, everybody, our audience is going to view this on the MAGA locally platform. Do you know what that stands for? We
Tell
want
me.
to, we're trying to make America great again at the local level, at our city and our state level. So our audience,
Oh,
we've been
I
following you because
misunderstood yes, make America great again. Right on.
All right. Hey, I just got three or four things I'd really like to pick your brain about. First, I know you're running for governor. We're excited here in District 32, Senator Joe Carter's district. I know you're from District 23. Can you tell me real quick a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your family and your district?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a husband to one, father to two, and I tell you what, I've got two or three big Great Danes in my house that my wife refers to as Missouri's greatest producer of shovel-ready projects. So living the American dream out here. Owned a small business before I got into politics, and before that, I was in the Air Force. So normally it's the Army guys making fun of me, not the other way around. But did 8 years in the Air Force. I was an aircraft maintenance officer. And the veterans issues that I think we're going to talk about today, they're very personal for me. I went overseas in the War on Terror back in 2004, went to a former Soviet country as part of Operation Enduring Freedom, and we were in charge of refueling C-17s coming back from Afghanistan on their way back to Europe. So, veterans have a special place in my heart, so it's going to be a good topic to chat about today.
Awesome. I know the Senate, specifically the Freedom Caucus, has been having some issues there with the IP reform, the initiative petition reform. Can you tell us just a little bit about
Yep.
what happened over the week, where we're at now? Because I know a lot of people are still a little confused on the status of that.
Yeah, so initiative petition reform, basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to protect our Constitution here in Missouri from these out of state special interests that are coming in to Missouri and using the initiative signature gathering process to put terrible things into our Constitution by spending a lot of money on dishonest campaigns. That are designed to really promote leftist woke policies. We had, and it's been happening for quite a few numbers of years now. They expanded Medicaid under the initiative process. They had Clean Missouri or Amendment 3, all of these things which are unconstitutional and push our state more to the left via the founding document because these special interests know that they would never pass the legislature. We're looking for ways to protect our Constitution. So, what we came up with is this idea of reforming the process to include not just a standard to get a simple majority of 50 plus one vote percent, but also to add a second standard if for anything to go into effect where you would have to have a majority of the state's 8 congressional districts would also have to approve a measure. So you'd have to have an overall 50 plus 1% majority, but you would also need 5 of the 8 congressional districts in the state of Missouri to approve it with 50% or more of the vote. What that is going to require is that means you're going to have a broader consensus instead of just big vote margins being run up in our urban cores, which of course are very liberal and more left leaning. You're going to have a broader consensus of the urban areas and the rural areas to come together to change the founding document of the state. So I think that's a much better way to go. It'll ensure that you can't just have these very dishonest campaigns getting very slim majorities by passing things that most folks, if they were, most folks, when they were really getting to know what these issues were, certainly wouldn't approve. So it's so that's kind of the background. Where we are now is, of course, we've been with the Freedom Caucus has been working feverishly for the past couple of months to push an IP reform ballot through the Missouri Senate, and we were trying to get this done last year. Our leadership found a way to. At the very end to not get this done. So we came into this session. We've been kind of causing a ruckus down there in Jefferson City, holding up
We like
everything
it.
else
We like it.
until until we got this over the finish. Yes, yeah, we lost our chairmanships. They took our parking
Yeah.
spaces because our leadership got so angry at us for holding things up.
So we're talking about IP reform. Can you tell us where we're at
Yeah, you
right
bet.
now on the
So
IP
this week
reform
we
issue?
passed out an IP reform bill from the Missouri Senate. We third read it yesterday, and that's a big victory for the state of Missouri to be able to get a big constitutional protection like that out of the Missouri Senate. We've sent it over to the House. It would require, in the case of initiative petitions, Anytime you not only have to have a simple majority, but you also have to have a majority of the five of the 8 congressional districts in the state in order to affect a change to the Missouri Constitution. What that's going to mean is you would actually require a much broader consensus between the urban and rural areas in the state if we're going to change the founding document of the Show Me State. So I think it's a good change. I'm excited about this. I think it was the biggest victory that we've had in Missouri since last year when we passed a bill to prohibit the transgender mutilations going on. It wasn't perfect. We had some senators, a couple of Republican senators that offered an amendment that stripped out some additional provisions that would have protected us from non-citizens voting in our election. It would have protected us from foreign governments spending money to interfere in our election. So, unfortunately, 9 Republican senators actually voted for that amendment to strip those protections out. It was stunning to me to see even a couple statewide candidates vote for an amendment like that. So as that bill goes over to the House, we've got more work to do. We're already pressuring the House to put those measures back in. I expect that they will. And when it comes back to the Senate, I'll look forward to getting a final real good product to send before the people of the state.
Senator Eigel, I'll tell you, the constituents here in District 32 for Senator Carter, we're watching. We're watching what you're doing. You're leading the charge. I think you're doing that because you're a veteran. You're used to making decisions. You're used to being a leader. When the bullets start flying, you're not going the opposite way, but you meet it face on. And I was really discouraged with our Senate leadership. I'm looking at, they're using the process, it looks to me like, to delay and to stall and to prevent this good bill of IP reform to get across the finish line the very first time. Now they want to almost pollute this bill, make it where it's not as effective. What's your thoughts? And, and they say, well, don't worry about illegals voting. Well, we have to worry because it's happening in other states. We have almost 7 million people crossing our border illegally. So for us to say, oh, we're just not going to worry about that here in Missouri, we're going to trust our federal government or our laws. They're not even following those laws. So how can we expect them to follow the laws that we have even in our state level? So we are concerned, and we appreciate you taking that up, taking the mantle for us on that issue. I also am discouraged a little bit as a veteran. I saw that he stripped you of your veteran chairmanship, and us veterans here. What was that about? Is that
No.
normal there at the state capitol?
No, not normal
to play
at all.
games like this,
I was
or
frustrated
what?
like you are. The Veterans Committee coming into this year, I was the chair of the Veterans Committee. I'm an 8-year Air Force veteran. The vice chair of the Veterans Committee was Senator Rick Bratton. He's a Marine Corps veteran. When we were stripped of those committee chairmanships, and the reason we were stripped, by the way, is because our leadership felt like we were pushing too hard to get IP reform passed. So we pushed so hard that they decided to kind of try to punish us. Well, when they stripped both veterans of the chairmanship and the vice chairmanship, they put a couple in there that don't have any veteran history, that haven't served at all. And that doesn't mean that they're not good people. Of course they are. But it does, I think it's a unique perspective to be able to run the Veterans Committee as someone who's actually served in the military service in this country. So I was frustrated. I mean, they took our parking spaces. So that's the level of pettiness that they've resorted to in order to try to really silence us. You see, Make America Great locally, your organization supporting a guy like Donald J. Trump. Well, that's what's happening to Donald J. Trump at the national level, right? They're trying to silence Donald J. Trump by essentially silencing, charging him with crimes that are completely based on falsehoods. They're trying to take him off the ballot in certain states. They're trying to silence this guy. And of course, he's not going to be silent. And when they're trying to silence us here in the state of Missouri, we're not going to be silent. So it is frustrating. But after all that sacrifice, we did get an IP bill out of the Senate yesterday. And so tomorrow's a new day.